So I wanted to start off this video by providing some context on a couple of different topics. First being the type of content that I plan to make on my channel. It won't all be me sitting at my desk and talking through specific processes or specific journeys that I've gone through. I want to do a lot more content kind of bringing you into the operations of running businesses, but also just like what my life looks like and how I've had to structure it in order to be as productive as possible and handle all of the things that are on my plate. But it's just going to take a little bit of time to get there. So for now, I am focusing on really documenting some things that I've already been through and processes that are wrapping up so that I can not only share them and share my learnings with others and help other people who might be on the same journey, but also for my own documentation for the future so that I can look back and see where my business has been and the challenges that we faced and how we overcame them. The other context that I want to provide is what La Palme is and how it kind of originated. I'll probably do a much more in-depth video specifically on the origin of La Palme and how it developed into the brand it is today and the brand we hope it will be. But La Palme is an apparel brand that I started with my partner. It launched properly just about a month ago with our first product, our corduroy hat. But we had it, in process. We started planning and working on it, I think, summer of last year. So it's been not an incredibly long process, but a pretty long process when it comes to this type of business. It's not something we wanted to just run too quickly with. And I think walking through where we are today, you'll understand why. So today, I'm going to dig into our journey with one of our products that will be coming out pretty soon, and that is our tote bag. It sounds like a pretty easy product to develop and put out, but I think we learned that because of what we wanted, it was a lot more complicated and a lot more time consuming than we initially anticipated. So whenever we started, we planned for this to be our first product to release, but it took so many rounds of sampling and kind of going back to square one that it is going to be our third product to release, which is fine. It played out fine. It'll come out for fall, and I think that's a good time. But yeah, let's get into kind of how we started and what we were hoping to do with the tote. So starting out, we went with the sampling blanks. And I talked about blanks in my last video, but if you don't know what blanks are, it's a pre-made product where you can buy it. It's usually, completely white labeled, and you can customize it, add your own embellishments like embroidery, labeling, anything like that. So you don't have to do any like designing or, choosing sizes, measurements, anything like that. A lot of businesses go with using blanks, whether it's for shirts, hoodies, hats. I mean, you can get blanks for a ton of different apparel, I think probably all apparel. And it really is an effective way to get products out quickly. So that's kind of where we started whenever we decided that we wanted to work on accessories and apparel. So the first sample that we started with was a blank. It's just a thick cotton canvas from a manufacturer that, specializes in tote bags. We really liked what we saw with like the sizing and the structure and the photos. And so we figured we'd try it out. And whenever we received it, initially we actually thought it was great. And we were like, okay, let's move forward. And we sampled it in this like natural color, but also like a darker tan color as well. But the color we really wanted was a dark green. And this was when we were very, very new to the entire business. We had done some apparel and some accessories in the past, but as far as coming out with products that we were handling on our own in this way, we were new to it. So we weren't really sure what to look for as far as, the specifications of the product and, the manufacturers and things like that. So initially we were very, very happy. But we went back to the manufacturer and asked, we were like, we love it, but we want the dark green, and they're sold out of the dark green. So that was kind of the first speed bump when it came to products for us. And it was, I would say, a bit of an awakening, because we realized, if we're going to come out with a product and put our name on it, we really want it to represent us very, very well, but also be extremely high quality and unique. I think that businesses are very easy to create nowadays. It's not easy to make them successful, but there's a lot of duplication happening. And we wanted to make sure that our bag was the only one of its kind, and you couldn't, just buy it from any brand. So at this point, we decided to look for a new manufacturer and do our own design, own measurements, and we actually switched from a cotton canvas material to a linen blend material. And the hope with the linen blend material was to kind of elevate the style and make it look a bit like casual, but just make it a bit more like luxury feeling. I'll explain how that went in a minute. But the tote really needed to be something that people can wear, to a farmer's market, but they can also take it out for dinner and feel like it's appropriate for the establishment that they're in. We really want it to fit in a lot of different situations. So we did some mock-ups and made, the rendering of the tote bag and what it would look like. We chose the measurements, all of those things, and we chose the linen material, and we got it sampled. And this sample came with an embroidery on it. And when we got it, we just, at first didn't really know how to feel. I think that we were very excited to have a fully custom sample in our hands. There's definitely like a really good feeling when you're like, we created this, we designed every aspect of it, but we just didn't love it. And I think we spent quite a few months actually just kind of, going over it again and again, using the bag and seeing, how it felt to use on a daily basis. If it was, sturdy enough, if it was like aesthetically pleasing, if we thought other people would like it. And it took a really long time to understand how we really felt about it. And how we felt is that we didn't like it. So the embroidery is, we have a couple variations of our logo, and the embroidery is our block lettered logo, and not our primary logo. And so I think that was a big part that we switched, was, moving to our proper logo that we use most of the time to really establish our brand with our audience, since we are brand new. The other thing that we decided we don't like is the linen blend. It is just very, I think the best word to use is frumpy. It's just very, very frumpy. It doesn't look nice in any setting. And the color it came in also, it's just kind of a too bright of a green. So there were a lot of elements combined where we just decided like we're gonna have to scrap it and start over, which I will say was not a great feeling at that point, because like I said, this was supposed to be our first product. By the time we scrapped it, the second sample, we had to accept the fact that this probably would not be our first product, because we were, going back to find a new manufacturer, because the one that created this sample was not responsive enough to do the next. And we really wanted one that would just be the highest quality possible. Because like I said, tote bags are so common, and ours really needs to stand out. So from there, we actually, for the first time, created our very own tech pack for a product. And a tech pack, if you do not know, is essentially, it's usually just like a PDF, but it has line drawings, technical drawings of your product, all of the specifications for the measurements, the detailing, the fabrics used. You have a list of all of the different fabrics and materials required to make the product, and then you usually have a colorized illustration to show any like textures or just like the embellishments and things like that, and the different colors that you want it to have. So there's definitely like a learning curve there. luckily, like I have a lot of experience in Illustrator, um, and my partner is also really helpful with the design process and understanding, the math behind, how are we gonna make this a bag that works size wise. We didn't hate the size of the linen one, but there were just like some issues with how it kind of fit on the shoulder. So we made our technical drawing, and from there we again went to look for a new manufacturer. And this time it felt really good to have the tech pack to be able to send it and just like ask for a quote and see if they could do it. Being a new business, our order quantity is not very high. So finding a manufacturer that's going to produce a completely custom product at the quantity that we want for not an absolutely outrageous price is pretty difficult. So by the time I sent it to quite a few, we didn't have that many options. So we picked the two that we felt best with, and we sampled from 2 manufacturers. So the next sample we received was from one of those, and initially we thought that this would actually be our favorite sample, but it was not. But this is with the primary logo on it, and we switched to a dark brown tote. That's something we had considered before, but we decided that that's something that we definitely wanted. Our strap that we did on this was a woven strap. Again, that's something that we thought that we wanted at this point. But whenever we received it, it was just pretty clear that the craftsmanship was not like up to par with what we needed. There were just some, still looking at it, like I can see some issues just with things kind of being off, measurements not being great, and the sewing not being perfect. So there are some things that we liked about it. Like we liked the clip on the inside, and we liked the color of it. But what really sold us on the one that the manufacturer that we were moving forward with was comparing their sample to this one. So then our other one came in. Again, we were sampling from 2 different manufacturers at this point. And our other one came in, and immediately, well, first of all, the fabric was fantastic. It is just a cotton canvas, but the manufacturer called it a special fabric. I'm not totally sure what they mean by that, but it's a very, very cool color. So it's like a cool brown. And to us, it gives like a very like kind of elevated feel to a tote bag, because a lot of times the colors are pretty simple. So we really like that this one is a bit interesting, and the craftsmanship on it is perfect. I took a measuring tape to it, and every single measurement is perfect to a T. All of the sewing is great. All of the interior looks great, and structurally it is just a perfect bag. So whenever we got this, we essentially said like, okay, this is it, let's go with it. And we weren't at the point yet, because we were working on our other products, that we were ready to place our bulk order. But we had essentially decided like, this is what we're gonna do. But then some time passed, and it's really just been a few weeks now. But a few weeks ago, I went to my partner and said, I keep looking at this tote, and I just don't feel like it's perfect. Kind of scary to say after this was our 4th sample total for a product that we felt was going to be really simple. But the most important thing for our brand is releasing products that we like fully believe in and love ourselves, and that we want to own ourselves. We don't want to put anything out just to get something out there quickly, and we don't want to put stuff out like just to please people or just to make a quick buck or anything like that. The priority is really, really quality products. And so I just didn't feel like I loved the bag. It was nice. I loved the structure. It stays on my shoulder really well. There were things that I really, really enjoyed, but as far as the design of it, specifically the embroidery, I just felt like it wasn't enough. It wasn't standing out. And that's something that, you have to think about whenever you're establishing a brand and really want people to connect with your branding and start to form a relationship with your brand, is you need to stand out and your branding needs to be evident. That's why a lot of brands will have their logo on a lot of products in the beginning and kind of shift away from that once the branding is developed and really established. So I wanted to make sure that since this is something people will carry around, hopefully will get noticed, that it is evident that it is La Palme and that we stand out and that it looks unique. And hopefully people would say like, hey, where'd you get that? Like, I want one of those. So I went back to our tech pack and started messing around with the idea of doing an embroidered patch on the tote instead. I had seen embroidered patches on totes a couple of times, not very often, but whenever I did see it, I thought it was really cool and unique. And that's what really drew me to it, is because I wanted it, again, to stand out. And I thought it would look really cool. Like, part of our branding is leaning into a bit of vintage feel. And I felt like doing an embroidered patch would pull a little bit of that in. So we spent probably too much time looking at different colors and designs for this patch, and what the shape should be, what the shape definitely shouldn't be, which logo should be on it. Should it be kind of a monochrome look with the bag? Should I pull in some color? Because we really didn't want to have to do another sample after this. We wanted it to be, this is it, and we were going to move forward. So we landed on kind of an off-white embroidery woven patch with a really dark green logo on it. And it honestly looks great. As soon as we got it, we were like, yep, that's it. But it took a long time to get here. A long time. And this is definitely a product I feel like we can be proud of now, and really look forward to releasing. So I think it's just the lesson behind the story is like, if you prioritize and stay true to your word, with quality products, things might not go as planned, but will always turn out in the best way. There was a chance at some point that, I knew that there was a chance that we would have to just say we're not going to do totes right now, if it kept not working. But we were persistent, and, we tried to make really logical decisions, and, even taking time to step back for a few months to understand like how we should proceed with the product and what the best decisions to make were. So that is the story of the tote. And now we have the sample and it's done and it's approved. So we're going to move forward with our manufacturer now. That's the next step in the process, is putting in our bulk order. And then we have photo shoots coming up about the end of July, early August, where this will be a key part of it. And then it'll be prepped for release in the next few months. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you come back for more. If you are watching till now, feel free to leave a comment. If there's any questions that you have or anything that, you would like to learn about La Palme or know about our process, I'd be happy to answer.